Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m., the 27th of February. Another month almost gone. Isn't the year flying by? Today we'll look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain. Some interesting stories around, so stick around for those. And we'll go into the comment section, check out what has been happening there. Also, lots of viewer activity in the comment section. And then in the second half of the live stream, we'll go into the live chat, see what is happening there. So if you are watching the live stream this evening, say hello in that chat section. Now we'll get straight into the news because, as I said, lots of interesting stuff happening today. And the first piece of news here, and it's a sad piece of news, that the majority of the Dana or flood victims died before the emergency alert was issued, investigation has revealed. The vast majority of the 224 fatalities caused by the Dana storm that struck the province of Valencia on the 29th of October had already lost their lives before the emergency alert was sent to mobile phones at 8:12 p.m, according to the ongoing investigation by the Court of Instruction Number 3 of Catarroja. The case file, which spans over 1,000 pages, includes complaints filed by the victims' families, as reported by RTVE, the state broadcaster. The catastrophic floods resulted in 3 additional missing persons who are now officially presumed dead and caused millions in material losses. The report contains harrowing accounts with heartbreaking testimonies from survivors and speculative reconstructions of the deceased's final moments due to the lack of direct witnesses. One testimony describes how the water arrived suddenly and at 6 p.m. rushed into a garage, bursting the door open and rising to 2 meters high within moments. 3 days later, divers recovered the body of the victim's brother. So there we go. As I said, some sad news. The majority of people losing their lives before warnings were sent out to their mobile phones. The warnings weren't sent out until after 8 p.m. and people getting stuck in those floods around 5, maybe 6 p.m. earlier in the day, because the government, let's be honest, was completely, and probably still is, completely incompetent to deal with something of this magnitude here. It doesn't matter whether it's the autonomous community government of Valencia or the state government. There are errors everywhere here, and the fatalities piled up, 224, with 3 people still missing, presumed dead, because let's be honest, if they haven't found the bodies by now, they probably never will, because as somebody mentioned the other day, most likely buried meters deep under mud, and until that mud gets shifted, they won't be found, unfortunately, those people that have gone missing. Now, you might be asking yourself the question, how many politicians have resigned as a result of this incompetence? Well, the answer is 0, none, donuts, zip. And as we can see here, the press is now starting to question whether Spain is a country where no one resigns and corruption goes unpunished. At times, it is disheartening to sit at a computer and analyse the latest political developments in Spain. I can second that. It is frustrating to see that resignations are rare, no matter the gravity of one's mistakes, and that voters fail to hold politicians accountable for corruption, whether political or economic. Political parties hurl accusations at each other, refusing to acknowledge their own faults while simultaneously drowning in their own scandals. This week, as the country marks 4 months since the Dana in Valencia, which claimed 224 lives and left widespread devastation, Carlos Marzón, the president of the Valencian community, has offered yet another version of his whereabouts on the 29th of October, the day of the disaster. And once again, he has done so with the same detached attitude he has maintained since the catastrophe. Marzón now claims that he was not at the Integrated Operational Coordination Centre at 8:21 p.m. when the emergency alert was sent to the public, but insists he was reachable by phone since the afternoon. His previous version of events placed him at the emergency headquarters at 7 p.m. So Mr. Mathon blatantly lying to the people of the Valencian community and to the rest of Spain about his whereabouts on the day. What was he doing? We know that he was having lunch with a journalist from 3 to maybe 6 p.m, but what happened after that, nobody seems to know. Did he go on for further drinks? Did he end up in some hanky-panky? I don't know. Nobody knows, because he won't tell the truth, despite the demands of opposition parties and the general public as to what actually happened on that day. And as I said, the incompetence that was on display for all to see, which resulted in the loss of 224 lives there, as we saw. So Mr. Mathon won't resign, even with the water up to his neck, if you like. And if he won't resign, who will? And another politician that hasn't stepped down, surprisingly, even though he is accused with serious corruption cases at the moment, is the former transport minister and number 2 in the Spanish government for a number of years, José Luis Ábalos. And his ex-partner was in court today, giving her testimony on events surrounding this alleged corruption case, and some interesting news came to light. We'll see it now, because his ex-partner admits in the Supreme Court that the former minister paid for her luxury flat in Madrid. Jessica R. testified this Thursday before the Supreme Court, stating that while she was not entirely sure who was paying for her luxury flat in Madrid's Torre de Madrid, she assumed it was then Minister of Transport José Luis Ábalos. If I was given flowers, even if Coldo brought them, they were from Ábalos, she told Judge Leopoldo Puente, who was overseeing the Coldo case. When asked, did you assume that since it was his idea he would pay? She replied, yes, like everything else I had. During her testimony, Jessica R. also addressed the job she held at the 2 state-owned companies under the Ministry of Transport, Ineco and Traxatic. The Civil Guard had already investigated her payroll records as part of the case. The key revelation from Thursday's hearing was her admission that, in reality, she never actually worked at either company. She stated that she was told they would call her when she was needed, but that never happened. So that is what we are dealing with here. The former number 2 of the current government, Mr. Ábalos, now on the backbench. He's been kicked out of his own party, probably been made a scapegoat to save people higher up in the organisation, not naming any names, but you know who we're talking about. Putting his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend there up in a luxury flat in Madrid, no doubt paid for by the taxpayer, and also sending her flowers, which obviously that is all part of the game. And then she had jobs at 2 government organisations where she never showed up for one day of work, but was the minister's girlfriend or lover or whatever you want to call her. Jessica R. is her name, and that was her testimony. So the mind baffles as to what goes on here at the very top levels. Not only do politicians not resign after huge disasters like in Valencia, no one takes responsibility. We get corruption cases like this one here, where basically they're taking the P155 out of everybody who pays tax in this country and how it is spent. It is ludicrous and ridiculous and a shame. And the final piece of news here today, and maybe some good news for some, bad news for others, but a minority, apparently, people who think that this is bad news, and it is that 7 out of 10 Spaniards oppose bullfighting. Attitudes towards animals have changed significantly in Spain. More than 70% of the population opposes bullfighting, sport hunting, and the use of live animals in local festivals and circuses, according to the report Perceptions of Nature and Animals, conducted by the BBVA Bank Foundation. Although rejection of these practices is widespread, proximity to animals and views on nature are influenced by factors such as political orientation, age, level of education, and religious beliefs. 45% of Spaniards claim to feel a strong connection with animals, but empathy towards them is notably higher among women, younger people, those with higher education qualifications, and individuals with lower levels of religiosity. So there we go. Fairly clear that bullfighting and other blood sports in this country could be on their way out the door soon. 7 out of 10 Spaniards currently opposing this act, which, as I said, is popular with some, but others are fed up with seeing this type of thing. And all due, as we can see here, what side of the fence you are on, your political orientation, age, level of education, and religious beliefs. They are all connected, those things. So, draw your own conclusions from that. But 7 out of 10 people is a majority the last time I checked, or at least the people surveyed there. So we'll see if it is indeed the case that this festival that they call it here, or this sport, whatever you want to call it, bullfighting, might be coming to an end soon. I don't think it will, but I don't. But you never know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether it will or not, or is it too deeply ingrained in society here? Let us know. But the majority should be able to influence. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Comments now. Let's go into this one here from a Kerr. CD9797, a comment left the other day, doesn't seem to understand that BRICS is an answer to the G7, not NATO or the EU. Not sure siding with Russia and China while turning their backs on their European neighbours would be the best plan. Thanks, Kerr, for that. Yeah, this was a comment that somebody said the other day, that Spain should leave the European Union and NATO and join Russia and China as an ally there, part of the BRICS formation. Brazil, Russia, India, Russia, and maybe another country there as well. South Africa, I think, is it? Not sure. But Spain was confused Spain was thought to be in that group by the confused President Trump a few weeks ago. Maybe he was acting. I've got no idea, but he made the statement, and somebody suggested that perhaps a good idea. But I think that person was just trolling us all. And that is just another one of the most ludicrous things that I've heard in a long, long time. So we'll move on. One here from Finton. Hi, Stu. Since the lack of sunshine in Ireland seems to be topical at the moment, and by way of illustration, I took a photograph of the sunset outside Belfast on the 5th of February. It was nice. The problem is that it forgot to rise again. I flew out of Spain on the 16th of February, and that was the next time I saw it, and a welcome sight it was too. P.S. Mercadona currently doing a very nice red Theta Reserva 2021, €3.80. Thanks, Finton. Yeah, the topic of the sun and whether people in Ireland see it very often or not popped up the other day because of an article that I saw in the paper. That people hadn't seen the sun on the Republic of Ireland for the last 10 days or so. Not sure whether that situation has changed, but Finton, last time he saw it in Belfast was a while, and it wasn't until he got to Spain that he saw the sun again. So that's what we're dealing with here, the 5th of February and the 16th of February when arriving in Spain. And regarding that wine that you mentioned there, Finton, I went to Mercadona yesterday and couldn't see that particular brand. So not sure if you got the name right or not. If it is the name, I'll have another look for it in another Mercadona. But the one that I went to yesterday, no sign of it. And I even Googled the name and it didn't come up as a red wine. So not sure if it is the correct spelling of that wine or not. So let's clarify that if we can. Another one here from Stephen. I believe the later eating in Spain is due to the fact that the country, and probably still is, an agricultural country. 50 or 60 years ago, if you were living in a farming village, you would be getting up at 3 to 4 a.m., going to the fields, working until the heat was too much. 1:32 p.m. Having a lunch probably brought to you by your wife and children, having a siesta either in the fields or possibly back home, then working until 8 or 9 p.m., returning home for dinner. That's one of the theories, Stephen. Thank you very much for that. It could have something to do with why people eat later here than in other countries. People don't seem to get hungry until 2:30, 3 o'clock. Whatever the reason for that is, I've got no idea. This could be the theory, as you said here. Maybe it was because of the agricultural society. Don't know. But we've got another one here. After 22 years of living in Spain, I realise that all your comments are true, but I've come to accept them as the norm. Hopefully it's because I've accepted and absorbed the culture instead of being closeted in an English enclave and continuing to live in a UK bubble. It's a great way to live, and yes, I enjoy a big lunch at 2 to 4 followed by a siesta. Lovely. Thanks. Who's this? Emlyn, I think that is. Thanks for the comment there. Yeah, adapting to the Spanish way of life, as some people do, other people don't, of course. It is difficult to adapt, meal times being one of those things that people seem to struggle with. Each to their own. People can eat whenever they want. I often have lunch at 1 p.m. No problem with that. But if I go to a restaurant, it is difficult to get your lunch at 1 p.m. I went to a restaurant yesterday, and until 1:30 they wouldn't open the kitchen. So it was 2 p.m. before my food came out. But it is what it is where I live here. And yeah, we need to adapt, and most of us try to, but some of us don't. One here from MRN. Not sure the time zone is the main reason for eating late, since the Canary Islands 1 hour back have the same late meal hours. Yeah, again, another theory, because the Canary Islands are on UK time and Portuguese time, and they eat earlier. They eat at the same time as mainland Spain. Although it is different because of the time zone, if that makes sense. But yeah, it'll be 2:30, 3 p.m. before people are eating in the Canaries. Whereas in Portugal, 1 p.m., bang, people are having lunch. And by 2, normally they are out during the week. So back into the office or back into their job or whatever. But here, no, not the case. So interesting, the reasons as to why people do have a different timetable here. And the final comment, this one here from Sal. I've just sat on a train from Malaga to Seville, and the amount of rubbish in the countryside is disgusting, says Sal. Thanks, Sal, for the comment. Obviously, I haven't been to that part of the world in recent times, Sal, for various reasons. I've just seen an email that the sound is not very good. I'm not sure if it's at my end or whether it's just at that one particular person's end. Not sure. Can't see anything else here in the comments from what I can see. So, yeah, maybe the sound is okay. So I'll come back to that in a moment. If the sound is bad, let me know. Just getting back to that comment from Sal here. I haven't been in that part of the world for a while. Caught a train from Malaga to Seville. I can't remember the last time I did that. I didn't notice rubbish, so I can't remember noticing much rubbish in the fields, Sal. So if that is the case, yeah, somebody's got to clean it up. I know it used to be quite common for people to throw things out of their cars as they were driving along the highway, but I haven't really seen that all that often in recent times. People have changed their mentality as far as that is concerned. Obviously, the odd driver will throw an empty Coke can out the window or something similar. Cigarette butts, of course, are being thrown out of windows still. But yeah, I think in general, maybe I'm wrong, but it does seem to be cleaner, the streets. Or maybe there are more people cleaning up. I've got no idea, but I don't think Spain has the same rubbish issues that it had a few years ago. But Sal maybe would disagree with that. Now, I'm going to go into the chat section in just a moment. Before I do, I've got to change the backdrop. We'll see if we can get to the sound issue. For me, it's registering fine. I can't see any problems with that. So, again, not sure if the issue is at my end or at the viewer's end. Not sure, but we'll try to get to the bottom of the problem. This photo was sent in by Martin, and a lovely photo, but Martin didn't say where he took the photo. I think it's somewhere in Alicante, maybe close to Benidorm. That's all I can say. But thanks, Martin, for sending the photo through. And if you've got a similar photo that you would like to see on the backdrop here, the email address is currently on the screen, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your photos through as Martin has done. And any other information that you would like to bring to my attention, that is the email address too, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free, as I said. The like icon is also going on the screen now. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. We're currently sitting at 47 likes. We'll see if we can get up to a higher tally. If you hit that like icon, please do us a favor. Just below the video, you will find it. People that have supported the channel in recent times, on the super thanks, buying me a coffee, Patreon supporters, thank you very much for that. I think we've got some super chats or super thanks just come through, so I'll get to those in just a moment. And also the channel members of this YouTube channel. Growing is the channel membership. 99 cents a month will get you membership. There are some different tiers there. If you want to support the channel in a different way, if you can afford it, you can also, but 99 cents a month is the minimum. And Jeffrey is the latest member of the channel. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, for hitting that join button and becoming a member. Now into the chat section I'm going to go. I'm just going to scroll up and see if I can find the super chats. Let me have a look here quickly. There's one here from Andrew. £10. Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. Generous of you. Enjoying all your broadcasts, especially the food reviews and the language refreshers. Thank you. Have a drink on me. Will do, Andrew, for that price. I could probably get a couple of bottles of that 420 Mercadona wine, so I'll be off. Oh, it's actually £10, so I could probably. What's the exchange rate at the moment? Is it still? Am I getting more euros for that €10 for that £10? Let us know what the exchange rate is currently. But thanks, Andrew. As I said, I'll get a couple of bottles for that. Another one here from James is saying the sound is stop-start. I think it's a YouTube problem. From where I am, the sound is perfectly normal. Unless something's not plugged in, can't see that it is. I'll see on the replay anyway. But thanks for that comment there, James and Kathy, who I also saw a super chat from before, £1.99 also. Thank you very much for that, guys. Again, generous from you. Barbara's in the chat too, from the Player Flamenca, 16 degrees today there. Thanks, Barbara. Good to see you. James and Kathy, we just saw the super chat from them. Sipping a Southeast Australian Sauvignon Blanc tonight is getting low on Spanish Reds. We'll top up when we're over in May. There we go. But the Aussie wines are not bad from that part of the world, South Australia. Janet's coming in from Oxford, where it's been sunny. Well done, Janet. Good to see you've got some good weather there finally, some sunny weather. John's coming in from the UK too, valued member, as was Janet and Barbara that we saw before. TOL is also a valued member coming in from San Diego, 23 degrees 60 there. Charlie saying, okay, what a headline, what a dramatic headline. Not really, Charlie, just one that I put out today. Not all that dramatic, I don't think. The end of bullfighting. What else? Cabo Roj, that's James replying to one there. Eric is coming in from an overcast Terrassa, hoping everyone is doing fine. And remember, the weekend is just around the corner. Thank you for that. Andrew, we saw the super chat before, coming in from London South East. Hope you are well. Thanks for that. Toro Verde coming in from California. Good to see you. Gino's coming in from Toronto, hoping all is well with you and viewers. Thanks, Gino, for that. What dreadful news. The Dana tragedy, of course. Yes, dreadful news that people didn't stand the chance. Did not stand the chance. They didn't know what was coming. And again, why hasn't somebody stood up and taken responsibility for that? It's unbelievable. Gigi's coming in from a warm Surprise, Arizona. Thanks, Gigi, for that. Good to see you, valued member. Tony coming in from Newport, Rhode Island. Overcast there. Looking forward to visiting Barcelona and visiting the street named after my great-great-grandfather, Miquel Sanpere. Thanks, Tony, for that. Tony Jr. One can always assume hanky-panky. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah. Heidi coming in from Delaware, USA. Rainy and grey there. Charlie, is Charlie eligible for a luxury flat in Madrid? They ask. I don't know, Charlie. If you're willing to get into a relationship with a minister, maybe they'll set you up. Marianne coming in from California and resonating with government not coming through as it should. Absolutely. It doesn't only happen here, but of course we talk about Spain. Antonio, hello, Stuart, spot on. Abelos, he's the number one person for Pedro Sanchez. That's the man who should resign, but he never wins elections, neither resign, and the country is day by day worst, says Antonio. So not a fan of the current government, is Antonio. Good to know where the tax dollars are going, says Charlie. Absolutely. See where they're going, Charlie? That's where they're going. Sound is bad, says Janet. Yeah, Janet, nothing I can do about it here, unfortunately. I haven't touched anything, so I think it's a YouTube issue. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Start, stop, as we saw there before. Bullfighting is going to disappear in Spain in less than half a century. Antonio is confident on that. Charlie can't see the bullfighting disappearing or the Spanish bulldozing their bull rings in every town. Probably not. Rob coming in from Wisconsin, USA, counting the days until our trip to Spain. The 1st of April, says Rob. Dave's in the chat, former Madrid correspondent. Soon to be back in Madrid, I think Dave is. So we'll get some local news from Dave when he comes back. Charlie's also saying here that Trump happily greeted Santiago Abascal recently. Yeah, that's because Charlie Abascal and his group Vox have joined the Trump alliance around the world that wants to take over the world, led by Elon Musk on his social media platform, tweeting every 10 minutes. Never seen a man put out so many tweets in a day as Elon Musk. Then you've got Donald Trump as the world leader. Then you've got people like Santiago Abascal behind the rest of them, trying to live off the success of Mr. Trump in the United States, and they've set up the European version of the Make America Great Again, called the Make Europe Great Again, and they've got the mega hats out there as well. So if you want to buy their merchandise, it's on sale now. Evening all, says Teddy from Villa Martin, Orihuela Costa. Fluttergirl saying here that for people who have immigrated to Spain from Canada or America, do you need to take a driving test, or is our license transferable? The US license, Fluttergirl, is not transferable because there's state licenses, and every state can't come to an agreement with Spain to get that done. So forget about it. Canada, it might be a different story if Canada has a single license, or do they have different licenses according to where you are in the country? For example, is there a Vancouver license, an Ontario license, a Montreal license, or whatever the province there is? What's the story there? If that is the case, there's no exchange, basically. The countries that do get exchanges are countries that have a unified license system. New Zealand, for example, only one license, easy to get things done. But countries like Australia, states where we have individual states and individual licenses, no, you got to sit the test once you get here. What else we got going on here? Alex saying, lying, corrupt politicians. I'm shocked. Democracy is the worst kind of government in the world, worst kind of government until compared to every other kind. Yes, Alex, we humans haven't really worked it out yet on how to govern ourselves. Democracy was thought to be the answer to our woes. But some people thinking that maybe there's a better option out there. Maybe there's a better one. Don't know what it is, but some people think that there's a better option out there. We'll see. Walter saying here that when is fame all politicians? Well, I can't understand that. When is fame all politicians show up? When is blame they all disappear? Okay, it's an expression. When is fame all politicians show up, and when is blame they all disappear? It's typical. They will never accept they screwed up. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, if you screw up, a minor screw up, Walter, maybe you can pardon them, but something like this, I mean, how do you walk down the street? How do you show your face? That's the question. What else? Erica remembers her first time at uni in Aberdeen, first term I should say. When I came back, I remember telling everyone I had only one sunny day, quite common. Must say that May was always lovely before final exams. Well, that's normally when they get their summer or their spring, that time of the year, I think, in places like Scotland or Ireland. They get a couple of weeks there where the sun comes out. I remember going to Edinburgh back in the day, the early 1990s, I think, in May, maybe the end, I think it was May, and had some lovely weather. Went back a couple of months later and didn't see the sun for the week I was there, so it's a bit hit and miss. Brad coming in from Marbella. Dave also confirming there that you need to take lessons and then a test, very complicated rig system. Again, not sure on the Canadian story, but the US definitely. Antonio saying absolutely right about the agricultural society in Spain until the 1950s. Spain has changed from an agricultural society in 20 years, from the 50s to the 70s. In Italy in 30, France in 50, Germany in 75. There we go. There we go. Charlie agrees that there's a lot of trash or rubbish in the Spanish countryside and on the side of roads. Janet left and came back and the sound is okay. Not sure what happened. Yeah, I think it's a a YouTube hiccup. Janet, not necessarily from this end. I always I'll be able to see when the recording goes up straight after this on YouTube whether there is a sound issue from my end. But again, I think it's a YouTube issue. Sound is great, says Charlie. There we go. Brad says no rubbish where they are. Okay. That's interesting. Sound was wobbly, but okay now. There we go. So sound seems to be okay. That also worked for Tony. What else? Let's have a look here. Brad says that where they are, they've got teams from the council cleaning 7 days a week. Very happy with how our taxes are being used, plus daily bin service and weekly bin stream cleaned. There we go. So Brad's happy with the rates that they pay there. James saying that where he is, the sound is okay. Bury St Edmunds, that is. 10 quid is 12 euros at the moment. Well, I can get nearly 3 bottles then for that. Wow. I have my Friday night sorted. What else we got going on here? Mike coming in from 5 degrees plus weather, plus 5 degrees weather, snow melting like crazy. Spring is springing. There we go. So an early spring there. Paul coming in from a recent trip to Granada. Can't wait to return. Thanks, Paul. Glad you like Granada. It's a nice city, a nice province as well. Spain's not that different from everywhere else. There's no such thing as accountability for most wrongdoings and democracy. Well, the system rewards the losers. The parties who came out second and third got more votes. Yeah, it's an issue in many places around the world, Teddy. I don't think there's a Western democracy that isn't going through some type of crisis at the moment with split systems. The old two-party system that was so dominant for so many years is now virtually halfway out the door. Australia's seen that as well. People are fed up here as well. The political system's completely split, and this is what we get. This is what we get. Gene saying here, would any photo of Spain do for your backdrop? Well, it depends what it is, Gene. Obviously, if it's like a landscape shot like this one, or maybe it's a scene of a monument somewhere in a Spanish city, as long as it's Spain related and we can see Spain in the picture, I'll put up with that. But yeah, send it through. What else? Let's have a look. Brad's saying that their bull ring got converted into a shopping mall. Yeah, but I'm sure there's other ones around though, Brad. The big issue with bullfighting is not necessarily the big bullfighting rings. It's in some of the small towns and villages that you go to in the Castillas, where bulls are on display for the and often treated quite badly in some of the places. They get firecrackers put on their horns. There are other places where they get pushed into the sea. It's just ridiculous, basically. It's ridiculous. But again, that's just my opinion. You can, if you like watching that type of thing, bulls trying to put flames that are on their horns out in sand, go for it. But, you'll probably question that those happenings when maybe you see the light. I don't know. Or maybe you just think that that's a normal thing. To put fire, to put those sparklers or whatever they put onto a bull's horn and let it run around and hee ha ha and watch it put them out in the sand because it can't stand having that thing on its horns, sensitive horns, and the people are just sitting there having a drink and laughing. Wowee, look at that, every year the same thing. Fantastic. All licenses are the same in Canada. There we go. So the answer is quite clear that maybe Canada could have some type of agreement with Spain. I don't know. If you do have the, the problem here, Mike, they're comparable to all provinces. Yeah, but do you have individual licenses? This is the question. So does Ontario have a driver's license? Does Vancouver have a driver's license? Or is there one Canadian license? In Australia, the licenses are all valid no matter where you go. They're all similar, but each state issues them. Is that the question in Canada? Because it is in the States. So that's the question that I'm asking. Let me know. Thanks for pronouncing my last name correctly. Not many pull it off. Sampere. Well, my partner's cousin's surname is Sampere. They're not from Catalonia, I don't think. They live in the south of the country, but they have the same name, Tony. What else we got going on here? A photo of three guys in their underwear might not muster for the background photo. Probably not, Charlie. Probably not. California throwing cigarettes out of a car. It's a $900 ticket. 2 weekends on the chain gang. Yeah, it's a punishable offence here as well, but no one seems to care. And Charlie can say definitely that Canada does not have an agreement for driver's licenses with Spain. Yeah, so the problem is this, that every province has its own license. So Spain can't come to an individual agreement with 6 or however many provinces there are in Canada. In Australia, there's 6 states, 6 different licenses. In the States, 50 plus licenses. So it just doesn't happen. But New Zealand, where there's only one license for the whole country, doesn't matter whether you live in the North Island or the South Island, you have one driver's license, as in the UK. But the UK's issues with driver's licenses here is a little bit more complicated given the Brexit situation. Now that's it as far as the live stream is concerned. It's been a pleasure as always. Going to wrap it up now. I'll be back again on Sunday with another live stream. Hope to see you there. Have a fantastic start to the weekend. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and bye-bye.